Well, hello, and welcome back to another Sunday stream. It's been a while. Let me know how the sound is. Let me know how you're doing. Just let me know everything that might be interesting. Let's see what today is. Today is Sunday, and the plan for today is to carve a little bit of linoleum. As you can see, I have a linoleum ready, but I don't have the sketch yet. So we will take this print from empty sheet of paper to the first print, the first pull, if you will, and let's see how long it takes. But other than that, I hope you're for some carving. I'm trying to incorporate one Linocutting stream per month. So this one is the June stream. So what I already have sort of an idea in mind. It's kind of written in the description of this video. On the title, it's a snail, and you might think we already did a snail some time ago. But first, you can always do more than one snail. That's allowed. And second, I just need a different snail print. So the idea is to make it kind of a simpler snail, just the snail shape, the spiral, but then add some kind of fun texture to it, and also make it so that there is something fun happening with the snail itself. So like the snail that comes out of it could be kind of anything. Maybe it's just drops of water, or that looks like the logo for a company that does plumbing for like pre-made kitchen. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that. But I thought, maybe like spiral. Maybe it could be something like a little sprout coming out, kind of like a little leaf on the stick. I like the snail as a symbol, if you didn't get it from the abundance of snails in the previous streams, because it kind of has feel like it has a lot of symbolic weight to it. First, the whole idea of it being slow makes total sense to me, especially right now when the world is speeding up. I feel like slowing down is a good first step, trying to see what's actually happening around you and inside you. So maybe to add to that symbol, this sprout can be in sort of like a metaphor for creative expression and little ideas that are sprouting from the shell. Another part of the snail that fits the whole slow art aesthetic approach, not even aesthetic, there was no aesthetic, I guess it's more of a process mindset, is that, you know, the not only the snail is slow and that I feel like fits this approach, but it also has, you know, a hard part, a shell, and a soft part, this snail. So, and that in itself is also not a bad metaphor. Because, you know, you retreat sometimes into a shell, or I don't know about you, I retreat into a shell, but it doesn't mean that it's dead, it's just processing stuff. But at the same time, there is also the soft tissue of the snail that is kind of its core, and that part is also important knowledge. This can be maybe not drops, but drops. While doodling snails here and there, I found out that it's not easy to draw a beautiful spiral. You know, there are a lot of things in it. I feel like drawing a circle or an ellipse. It's easier in like in a few maybe corrections, but can get there. But with spiral, it's kind of hard to control the distance from the line that you already drew. And depending on what kind of spiral you're drawing, maybe you don't want to have consistent distance. Maybe instead you have kind of increasing. Which is a very different type of spiral here. So it has been a bit of a chaotic past few months with the streams and in general the studio endeavors. I've been meaning to write a post to the Patreon or the newsletter, but was kind of hitting the demotivation wall, and ultimately, speaking of shells, was retreating shell. And last stream also, I think there were 2 streams that unfortunately fell out, and last stream was music only stream, which I think is the right solution to a low energy day. But I thought it might be good to let you know what I have been up to in the meantime. So beyond just doing the work, worrying about stuff around, with studio specifically, I have been kind of slowly trying to organize all the administrative part and clean up the accounts, set up the pages for the shop, for the website. It all is a bit, you know, over the top sometimes, it feels like, in terms of time spent versus actual outcomes, whatever the outcomes I'm expecting. It's another question. But you know, it took a while. I have rewritten the intro on the website because it didn't feel like it fits anymore, or a bit preachy. And what else? I have been planning a release, I guess, multimedia studio release for a while. I thought I would do it in April, but I felt like I didn't have enough stuff to call it a proper release. So I postponed it to May. And then May passed by, and I still felt like I didn't have enough. So now it's June, and I think June is going to be the day. I mean, where is it? Month, week, year. So I have one print that you probably have seen before, and then one print I was drawing for the last few weeks, also with like a slow down note. If you're curious about it, I will post it as a like progress, work in progress note in Discord. So if you want to see what I'm up to, Discord would be the best way to do it. I have been very lazy with Instagram, if you want to call it that. I think it's more resistance rather than laziness. I just felt like it's became a very strange place that doesn't reward who is not doing jumping through the hoops of the algorithm and all that stuff. So in a way, kind of fell off my radars. But it doesn't mean that because someone is not posting Instagram, they're not doing it. So I recommend joining our Discord to stay in touch. I think, I don't know what you guys think. Let me know if you have any preferences. My personal preference is this one. I think I like the shape of this spiral. I like that it's going to the right side because it feels like, you know, it's moving in that direction, so it's kind of, it has this forward momentum. And I'm not sure yet about this line. Maybe it should go the other way. Right. And I think I would, in this case, I would actually prefer an equal line spiral rather than an increasing curve. So this sprout is going kind of forward and then backward. What if we try first going backward, then maybe grab this? Just need to decide which parts go beyond which. What if it first goes behind the shell and then Hello, Hummingberry. Welcome to the stream. So I think this is kind of the goal for the. How is it going there? What are you up to? But it's important when drawing things for the print. I did this mistake more than once. It's important to remember that when you print, it's a mirror image. So instead of drawing it spiraling to the right here, and spiral it left. And then when it's printed, print it when it's printed. Yeah, why am I overcomplicating it? It's gonna be the right direction. Period. Going good, chilling on the couch. Sounds like a correct way of spending Sunday evening. So let's see, I kind of wanted to be as big as it could be within this size. Maybe it could go like this. Snail itself would maybe fit in a circle like this with an entrance here. Center of the spiral in here, and then let's see how much space do we need for the sprout. Close this. This seems like a good idea. Spoil those. So beyond the administrative stuff, I have been playing around with the artificial intelligence and trying to think of ethical and human respecting ways of incorporating into the practice. I came to the conclusion that there is no way or kind of no point, I think, for me in using it for any creative work. I don't want it to generate anything for me, but I think there is a lot of use for AI in creating tools for yourself. So, for example, for this streaming setup that I have been iteratively kind of building a pipeline so the stream is processed after it's done, and I get a transcript that I can then analyze and see, you know, what kind of stuff I say, maybe keep up with the promises I make during the stream that I forget afterwards, or whatever fun things I can do with the knowledge or with the data. So that's kind of one use case, and I will eventually, when I get to writing newsletters, and I have been also working on setting up a system for myself that maybe would allow me to capture ideas faster. So beyond that, yeah, I have another one of the prints that will go into the shop, and ultimately I've been trying to kind of put together a release, like a debut, if you want, probably done a debut of, I don't know, I guess studio work over the past year, and I feel like the message, both for myself and from me, is the slowdown message that we have just discussed. And because of that, I'm trying to kind of set it all up around this topic. So we will have the snail print, the one that you're seeing right now will be part of the bundle, and then over the past few streams I have been kind of improvising some ambient music, which also fits the topic of slowing down. And also over the past months I have been recording here and there some nature sounds of different birds, sheep as well, and together with the music that have been recording in the background during streams, I thought it might be fun to create like an online radio station or just background slowing down relaxation purposes. So I have been chipping in on that as well. There is a small preview. If you're curious, you can access it on my website sagamore.studio, or just go to sagamore.studio/radio. This is just kind of like a little snippet preview. It has it has music there constantly playing. The collection is not big yet and the program is not scheduled. It's just a couple of hours of music randomly picking from the list. But I do have plans for eventually making something fun with that station. So that would be also a part of the bundle. And then, yeah, those ambient tracks that have been recorded in the past streams, they will also become a Bandcamp album. I don't know if I should call the album Slow Down as well. Maybe. But yeah, the idea is to clean up the tracks a little bit, chop out the stupid stuff, and publish them on Bandcamp together with this snail. And because I have been, that's kind of like the core idea. The core point is a few prints and an album. So there you go, multimedia release. But you know, if you know me, you know I like to overcomplicate things to make it more interesting. So I don't know if I will make it in time, but as an add-on to that release of prints and music, I want to release the patches that I used for the ambient tracks and the samples from those ambient tracks as kind of separate, you know, pay what you want kind of digital products. Let's see how much I can pull out of those improvisation sessions. And the other part that kind of maybe not as much connected to slowing down, but has the same spirit of sharing things, is a brush pack or with appropriate brushes that I have been using for the past few months. I kind of build my own set of brushes that some of them are just weird and fun for some purposes, but kind of maybe a little bit wonky or unusable for general purpose. But the other ones that are actually maybe useful brushes, I will also release as a pack for free or pay what you want. So I think that's the whole bun. And with the radio, that's why I mentioned nature sounds and all that, is that when I get time and can properly set up the programming on the radio, there will be some of the ambient pieces and some of the nature breaks to keep yourself grounded. And here I thought maybe I can write slow down. Okay. Just slow down, you know. Like, but we need to figure out how to write it. So if I write it like this, it will be flipped backwards, right? So I need to write it this. Like this, then it will be flipped correct. Now, but I want them to be kind of symmetrical with the words. So we need to divide each into 4 letter rectangles. Which is pretty easy to do. And then what? Isn't big enough. Maybe we need a little bit bigger. Kind of want them to be more, tall than wide, because the snail itself is more wide than tall. That's reason enough, but not like could be. And then I kind of want this, like, the N letter, you can write it very differently. You can move this diagonal line into any area you want, or even do without it. But I kind of want it in the top, third or quarter, and the same with the lower, like with the W bottom. So just put it in the middle-ish, and then another middle-ish. Maybe I will separate the letters. Let's do it and discuss straight away. know if whole should be the whole rectangle. Oh, another thing that I did recently, not really as a studio, but as myself, and I really enjoyed it, and I feel like I knew that I will enjoy it. It might go the link, but it was pottery. I signed up for a short pottery course here. And it's, you know, throwing pottery with those on the wheel, and you make mugs. And I must say, it's very satisfying. Like, I knew that in the digital world, it's especially nice to touch brass in a way, you know, to do something with your hands. I have been designing digital stuff for enough time, for like a decade and a half, and I feel like I'm missing the handcrafted feel. And that's why pottery seems like a great solution. It's just a 4-session course, so I think we're gonna do 4 items or something, or 5, 3. But if you like, also go to the open studio day in that pottery atelier or studio, whatever you call it, and probably not probably they have this open studio, and I thought maybe if I like throwing clay after the course, I can go there from time to time and do something. Yeah. So if you have been tired of digital life, touch something with your hand. The other thing I want to try and implement is woodwork. I feel like that also would be very satisfying thing to do. But you can't do everything once. I'm also trying to imagine which parts to cut out, because I think I want the black lines to be cut out. So the white will stay. So we will need an outline. I don't know what I'm doing, so don't quote me on that. I'm looking at this leaf and thinking maybe I need to add some another. We can sketch with a thinner brush. No, it's called limitless marker. So one way would be to turn this leaf into like a flower. It's an idea. The top part is a bit off camera. Could you show this? Oh yeah, I moved it up so much. I'm sorry. I was focused on the letters and completely missed that. Is it good now? So maybe a flower like this would be more fun. But maybe no, maybe there can be like a here. Looks nice. That's what I want to hear. That my flowers look nice. Yeah, I think maybe like a flower sprouting or opening up would be more interesting than a leaf. Although we can, correct these on like this print I want to have as a t-shirt and also as a print, on paper. So for the paper print it will be what it will turn up, but for the t-shirt I will scan it, digitize it, so in that process I can easily correct this part or create a few variations. So let's see how far we can get it by thinking what to carve out. So I will just paint the part that I want to keep in this lovely green. I should have probably muted the microphone. So this part I want to have filled. I will think later what to do with the inside. We'll get to it. But for now, I like this non-Posca green color. Kind of dries a little bit desaturated. And that's pretty neat. So ultimately this whole thing, I don't know if I need to paint it. Maybe it's here. Yeah. But sometimes, you know, you're so focused on doing the correct line that you kind of, well, at least I do. So having these filled in, I can kind of remind myself that I wanted to keep the black lines cut through white, so let's make sure that we have let's not forget the beginning of the snail. So because of the hiatus of the past few months, we haven't been doing world build lately. Did you notice? You probably did, and rightfully so. It's been a while. We'll add an outline to this so it's clear that the black lines will be cut through. And it's a little bit more clear what's left. So I guess on the inside, we can leave it for later. I think I don't want to cover it all with paint because I think I will smear it around too much. But the idea is just kind of to remind you what we were working for. You know, this kind of spiraling texture of sorts. Maybe, I don't know if lines or this sort of scales, maybe, or arches. Though that's also still kind of to be decided. Maybe we can even do both. No, maybe we can have some parts. Divide it in half. And then one part can be black on white and the bottom part can be white on black. So if we think that you imagine, just imagine, if you imagine that the black part was getting cut out, then you can have here the points. Kind of pointing at the center ish. I don't know how long it will be. Maybe a little bit longer. And the same in these ones. Also don't know, maybe there should be a little bit curve to indicate the shape. Maybe not. And then the same here. So that would be the top part, and the bottom part would be the opposite. so it would be mostly cut out, except this part. And also on the kind of inside part, we will have the solid side. Kind of like this, and I guess this will be a tough one to cut because these lines will probably be very thin, not easy to get right, but we will cross the bridge when we get cross this bridge right here. So I guess this is the plan for the snail. Like the black part is getting cut off here, and then the white part is getting cut off, so we can, I guess, mark it. Remember, I didn't want to mark anything. Well, and I'll get what you. This is also gone. This is gone. Gone. This is gone. And this is gone. So let's see what turns out of this. It's time. Wait, before that, actually, I don't need to outline these guys, the letters, because I will just carve around them. The only one that I want to make sure is Gonski or Gong is this one. I don't want it to be straight. So let's get carving. First I will take the what is it? Angular square. What do you call this? No. Chisel that has V shape rather than U shape. And just do the outline. Let's see where it lands us. Maybe I need to zoom in for better visibility. Almost messed it up there, but ultimately I didn't. But there is still a lot of opportunities ahead. I like to keep sketches around, but sometimes they get in. Here, I think I will leave a gap and clean it up later, because the line will go over the top. I don't know if you have done Linocutting in your life? Maybe you can relate. Sometimes I'm trying too hard to make it one long continuous line. I don't know if you have it with oranges, but I think I have it with oranges as well. Like when you're peeling a mandarin or an orange, sometimes if you're doing it by hand with the peeler, or the same with potatoes actually, I'm often trying to just get the longest peel possible. I know what it means, Mr. Freud. Okay, let's do the flower maybe first. Some parts of it first. Here I also don't know, so I will keep the line here. I don't know if I want this, which lines here I want to go over which. So we'll decide on the play. Here I'm pretty sure I want to go over the top, but we'll see. Leave some space there as well. You can always clean it up a little bit more later, but it's harder to add linoleum afterwards and cut. Although I've seen people use, different parts, like you cut out a hole here and put a different piece of linoleum there with a different image or with a fixed image. So it's definitely not something unheard of. Just don't know if it makes sense from my case. And I would like to avoid that too, because it's more work and just leaving some more linoleum to cut later. Alright, the outline is now almost done, except these guys. I will also leave some space. Something is bugging with my overlay. The messages are not disappearing. Well, I guess they will stay there forever. Okay, for the letters, I think it's actually a bit easier because we can just make the straight lines, or aim to make straight lines. And those will be our edges of the text. Just need one good line. Now put rectangles around the letters. Can deal with the letter shapes later shapes. So those would be our letter shape. And I think now I can switch to, I don't know, there are these tools that I never used that maybe are good for this kind of thing, but no, I know how to use them. This how you use. Doesn't seem efficient. Probably Google. And now this is where the table starts getting easier and safe. Not the most efficient way. There's probably better ways to do it. But for now it is can always cut out the bigger areas later. Just leave a little bit more of the linoleum around for mental support. Moral support. My computer just told me that there is no more space to keep recording this video. Well, I guess we will have to go without it for some. I don't think we will be doing the detail work of this snail print on stream, because it's been already an hour and a half and there is still some carving to do here. So I think some of the more granular work I will leave until the end. Or which end? I will leave until after the stream, or maybe tomorrow. Maybe I will just stream again the part, but probably not, because for these smaller parts it's usually I sit like really close to the linoleum, so if I would do it on stream I would cover the view with my head, which I don't think is as entertaining. Sound. Plus there is still some music to do. This is good enough. Said this part we can cut, this part we can cut, here we will cut, here yeah, this is fine. Now we need to leave some intrigue to the release of the Slow Down series volume 1. Now if I complete the print here, then it can be a spoiler. Don't let that happen. I just wrote the title for the stream, Linocutting, snail start to finish. And now I feel like I'm deceiving people because this isn't finished. But yes, it's acceptable finish. Who knows what the goal was to begin with? Maybe for some people, this is the key. But I will do one test print before we go to see where it is going. It's time to sharpen this tool. It starts getting a bit weird. Starts behaving a bit strange. But I actually don't have any sharpening tools for this. Chisels? Could buy probably some little file. Sandstone? How does it work? Tiny sandstone is probably the answer. This corner, we also don't really need to clean the whole corner, we just need to clean enough around the petals of this flower so it's actually possible to just cut it off. I'm also curious if you guys watching live, if this time works for you better than the morning, because I know we had some people joining in the morning who are not joining in the evening, and I wonder if we lost those guys forever. Because I'm myself also not settled yet on this time for the stream. I also want to try streaming on Saturday night instead of Sunday to see if that works. A lot of experiments. Another plan I have is to record a tutorial on making nice drone like pads in on Roland MC101, because one of the viewers asked in the comments they like the sound of the pads and asked to make a tutorial. So that's also something on my roadmap. So if you have any other requests on stuff, don't hesitate to write that in the comments or in the chat, or most best be on Discord. That's where it's the easiest to react and see what's happening. So this part I will just cut off this corner here as well, maybe. And now the lines around the text need a little bit more space. This we can also ultimately just cut it off, because these parts we don't need. I was thinking for a second that maybe I need one of the corners for like a signature or something, but I don't need it in linoleum. I can just sign, print, or put a stamp on. Yeah, I think actually 2 hours of carving is probably the limit of what my wrist wants to tolerate. And health is important. So good to take breaks and stretch a bit. The last few on this side. Let's move all the rubbish on one side. Just for consistency, not really that it helps with anything. But garbage to garbage, that's how the saying goes. Just sleep there. Like this, and I think I want to do a little bit of the letter. Just make them a little bit wider, like the gaps between them. Make the gaps be a little bit greater. Maybe actually square would work better. With one continuous line, it's not only fun to try to make it, but I guess the point is that the line is smoother, or it's easier to have a smoother line if you're just doing it in one stroke. Kind of the same as with drawing. You know, when you're beginning, you often have these hairy lines because you're just drawing over the same area over and over, trying to fix or trying to find the real line that you're looking for. And one of the few, like one of the earliest things that art teachers often say is that you should move your hand. You should move your hand from the shoulder, and posture is pretty important. So make the L. See? Two parts. Kind of wanted to use a thinner tool. So this see, this looks, it's carved out. Let's do W because we can easier do it from this. Together. I like doing these intermediate prints before you have everything finished up, because it kind of gives you an idea if it's working or not, but also if it does start to work, it gives you this motivational boost. That maybe, just maybe, it's gonna work out at the end. Which is not always a given. Like, D is kind of done. Okay, the O's we will skip because they can be just squares for now. Okay, this I think is easier to deal with by using round. W would be pretty cleanable. And oh yeah, if I put this W. So fast. Let's slow down and really fast fix this. Alright, I think with the letters we're kind of done. I mean, they clearly need some work, but maybe I'll actually square off these rectangles first. I don't know, should all of us together carve a little bit more? Or should we switch to music for the stream? How is everyone's mood? Do you guys have a mood? I think I will leave this inner part for a separate session. Okay. There it is. And now let's do a small test frame. Not really to see the final picture, but just to see how it works, if it does. That's a bit much. The key is to have the paint kind of very evenly spread on the wall, and not too much, because otherwise it just leaks. This paint is pretty liquid. So now we can just, we can even take this paper for sketches and just cover parts so we can so we don't need to stain this part. You can try the flower itself. See how well that part is carved. Obviously it's very sketchy, like it's a draft of the final piece, but so the middle I will leave for now as unpainted, because I mean it's not carved, so you're gonna see anything there anyway, but it will really help me in the future to position everything or to redraw stuff. So old t-shirt, so squeaky. The wheel was squeaky, and Sorry. Doesn't matter. This one of the outer shell matters quite a bit. I hope it's not too shaky. If you get motion sickness from this, let me know. Well, it's the moment of truth. Is everyone ready? Drum roll. Well, that's how I thought it would. Yeah. The letters obviously need some work, you know. No argument there. No, those will get a little bit refined and homogenized. But this part is obviously the most detailed and pretty. But you can see how this might turn into like t-shirt. So now, since we're done with the printing, let's get to the fun part. To our trusty Roland MC1. Alright, for those who don't know how this works on stream, we always end with a little improvisation on the groove box. It's always random, you never know where it will get us, and if everything is correctly set up, theoretically, you have control, the chat, the live viewers, have control over track number 4. But don't quote me on because my overlay has been very bad. And I will turn on the controls, and if they work, it would be good. If they don't, done. So let's say goodbye to this nice lo-fi background sounds and say hello to whatever comes. Hope you can hear it. Well, you can't hear it because I have played it, but yeah, let's see where it takes me and to see on the outside. Now I don't. No. All right, let's go. Let's see. Well. Seems like we have arrived to the other side of this, wherever that was. So I want to thank you all. I want, I want to thank you all for stopping by and hanging out today. I hope you had fun, and I hope to see you next time. Have a nice rest of your day. Nice week ahead. Bye bye.